Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and a very warm welcome to our honorable guest, Professor T.S. Dr. Amiza binti Mat Amin, the Director of Postgraduate Management Center, UMT, representative from the faculty and institutes, panel of juries, the supervisors, the contestants, postgraduate students, and to everyone who are watching this competition live through WebEx. Welcome to 2026 3-minute thesis 3MT competition. My name is Suryahani binti Ibrahim from English Learning Center, ELC UMT. I'll be in charge of moderating today's competition. On behalf of Postgraduate Management Center, we would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. We hope you will learn a lot and will be listening to some presentations that will be fruitful and engaging. Proceeding to our first item on the list today, I would like to invite Al-Fadil Ustaz Muhammad Syafiq bin Alias for doa recitation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma inna na'udzu bika min ilmin la yanfa' wa min qalbin la yakhsha' wa min nafsin la tashba' wa min du'a'in la yustajabu lah. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, kami merafakkan setinggi-tinggi kesyukuran kehadrat-Mu, Ya Allah. Kerana dengan limpahan kurniaan dan izin-Mu, kami dapat bersama-sama menjayakan 2026 UMT 3 Minutes Thesis Competition di Universiti Malaysia Terengganu pada hari ini. Ya Allah, Ya Alim, kurniakanlah kepada para peserta ketenangan hati, kelancaran bicara, kecerdasan fikiran serta keyakinan diri dalam menyampaikan pembentangan mereka. Bukakanlah pintu ilmu, kreativiti dan kebijaksanaan agar segala usaha dan penyelidikan yang dihasilkan dapat memberi manfaat kepada agama, masyarakat, negara dan seluruh umat manusia. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram, berkatilah juga para pensyarah, hakim, urus setia serta semua yang terlibat dalam menjayakan program ini. Semoga segala usaha dan pengorbanan mereka mendapat ganjaran yang terbaik di sisi-Mu, Ya Allah. Jadikanlah pertandingan ini sebagai medan untuk memupuk budaya ilmu, semangat inovasi, integriti serta kecemerlangan akademik dalam kalangan warga universiti. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma wa la taj'alillahumma fina ولا معنا ولا من يتبعنا شقيا ولا مطرودا ولا محروما ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you so much, Ustaz, for the beautiful dua. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Hopefully our program today will be truly blessed and run smoothly. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great pleasure to invite Professor T.S. Dr. Amiza binti Mat Amin, the Director of Postgraduate Management Center, UMT, to deliver the welcoming address for the 2026 3-minute thesis 3MT competition. Please join me in welcoming Professor Amiza.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and a very good morning. Distinguished members of UMT management, respected judges, academic staffs, fellow colleagues, and most importantly, our postgraduate students and participants. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the UMT 2026 3-minute thesis 3MT competition organized by the Postgraduate Management Center or PPS at UMT. First and foremost, let us express our gratitude for being given this opportunity to gather here today in support of academic excellence, research communication, and postgraduate development. Ladies and gentlemen, the 3-minute thesis competition is much more than just a speaking competition. It is an internationally recognized academic platform that challenges postgraduate researchers to communicate their research clearly, effectively, and passionately in only 3 minutes using appropriate language that can be understood by general audience. At University Malaysia Terengganu, we strongly believe that impactful research shouldn't remain only in laboratories, field site, or academic journals. Research must be communicated to society, industry, policymakers, and the global community. Therefore, this program serves as an important platform to nurture confidence, sharpen presentation skills, and develop our students into researchers who are not only knowledgeable but also influential communicators. Today, we are proud to witness the participation of 28 talented postgraduate students, each bringing forward innovative research ideas that have the potential to contribute meaningfully to science, society, sustainability, and national development. To all participants, I would like to congratulate you for stepping forward and taking on this challenge. Standing here today already reflects your courage, dedication, and commitment as researchers. Ladies and gentlemen, this competition also carries greater significance as the champion of the today's competition will have the honor of representing UMT at the National 3-minute thesis competition, which will be hosted by University Science Islam Malaysia this coming July 2026. This is not only an opportunity for individual achievement, but also a chance to showcase the quality, strength, and impact of postgraduate research at UMT at the national stage. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to the organizing committee, judges, supervisors, and everyone involved in making this program possible. With that, I wish all participants the very best. May this competition inspire excellence, innovation, and confidence among our postgraduate community. Finally, with the holy kalimah Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially declare the UMT 2026 3 minutes competition open. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Prof. Ladies and gentlemen, I now humbly invite all participants, judges, committee members, and distinguished guests to kindly switch on your cameras for our official photography session. So please give your best smile as we capture this memorable moment together for 2026 3-minute thesis 3MT competition. So what will happen is I will count from 1 to 10. So please stay on screen and keep smiling throughout the counting. Okay, ready everyone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Before we start this competition, let me give you a short brief on the competition rules, how this competition is assessed, and the prizes offered, and the proceeding of the competition. First, the competition rules. Number 1, each participant will present their topic using a single static PowerPoint slide. There's no slide transitions, animations, or movement of any description from the beginning until the end. Number 2, each presentation is limited to 3 minutes maximum, and those who exceed this limit will be disqualified, unfortunately. And lastly, please note that competitors will not be judged on video or recording quality or editing capabilities. Judging will focus on the presentation, ability to communicate research to a non-specialist audience, and also 3MT PowerPoint slide. Hopefully that's clear, yeah? Alright, let's move on to number 2, which is the judging criteria. It is evaluated through 2 main components, which are comprehension and content, as well as engagement and communication. The component of comprehension and content comprises of 3 sets of questions with 7 marks each, while the component of engagement and communication comprises also of 3 sets of questions with 7 marks each. So that will sum up the total marks of 42. We will be playing 3MT pre-recorded video presentation by each competitor, and then we will proceed with the judging session right away. For each competitor, we will have your cooperation to switch on your video once it's your turn. And please stay until the next competitor to take his or her turn. So let's move on to the prizes. Okay, what's the point of joining a competition without exciting prizes? So these are the prizes that can be won by the winners today. Number 1, the first prize. It will be RM600 and the opportunity to represent UMT in the virtual Malaysia 3MT hosted by University Science Islam Malaysia, like mentioned by Prof. Amiza just now. Second prize will be RM400. Third prize is RM200. And finally, People's Choice Award worth of 150. A big congratulations in advance to all participants, and we wish you all the very best in today's competition. So now, ladies and gentlemen, please let me explain the proceeding of the competition. Bear with me, yeah? The proceeding competition will be like this. Number 1, the contestants' video will be played for 3 minutes, followed by 2 minutes of the judges' deliberation. Number 2, there will be 2 clusters. For today's competition, the first one is Science, Engineering and Technology cluster, and the other one would be Social Science cluster. Number 3, each judge will be given 2 minutes to do their deliberation. The moderator, which is myself, will stop the video sharing video, giving some time for the judges to judge. Number 4, it will be continued until the very last participant of the cluster. And finally, in between clusters, moving from one cluster to another, there will be around 5 minutes break before we proceed. Before we move on to our first contestant of the day, let me introduce our honorable panel of juries for today's competition. Okay, the first one, our chief judge for today, Professor Dr. Wan Iriani binti Wan Ismail, Faculty of Science and Marine Environment. Thank you, Prof, for being here. Next, Professor Madya Dr. Nurul Huda binti Ahmad Ishaq from Faculty of Science and Marine Environment. Prof. Next, number 3, Professor T.S. Dr. Muhammad bin Ismail from Faculty of Ocean Engineering Technology and Informatics. Number 4, Professor Madya Dr. Azlina binti Abdul Aziz from Faculty of Business, Economics and Social Development. Moving on, we have Professor Madya Dr. Azza Jauhar binti Ahmad Tajuddin from Center for Foundation and Continuing Education. Number 6, Dr. Farah binti Husan Sahib from Center of Foundation and Continuing Education. And finally, Professor Madya Dr. Nik Hazimah binti Nik Mat from Faculty of Business, Economics and Social Development. All right, so thank you for being here, and I hope all our judges here are ready to mark, inshallah. Okay, so now let us watch our very first contestant video presentation from Science, Engineering and Technology cluster. So the first competitor is Miss Nur Maisarah Liana binti Khairul Shamshu. All right, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone. Did you ever hear about sea dragon? Century ago, people in China believed there was a big and strong energy hidden under the water. Today, science reveals something that is not only powerful, but completely invisible. Deep under the water, when the density water change, the mystery phenomena exists. It is internal wave. But the challenge is, how do we study something that we cannot see? That is where my research began. I use mathematics and computer simulation to uncover what eyes cannot observe. First, I built the theoretical model to explain how internal waves form and move. Then, I ran a numerical simulation using C++ to bring in the ocean into the visual laboratory, to study their behavior over time and cross a complex region like continental slope. Finally, I validate my result using the real ocean data. Then, I will present the most important information aligned with the UN Ocean Decade outcome. Because internal wave is not just the hidden motion. They transport energy, support marine system, and shape a coastal environment. So even that we cannot see them, they are always there, influence ocean around us. We cannot manage what we cannot see, but once we understand it, we can start to predict it. And once we predict it, we can start to protect it. And not forget that a great knowledge is a foundation of a great product. Just like Hermes the Sea, this discovery derived a new technology and opened the door for a future innovation. My work is about making the invisible ocean visible with understanding. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nur Maisarah Liana. Right, so let's move on to the judge deliberation for 2 minutes. Okay. Right, so let's move on to the second contestant. We have Mr. Si Ming Shi. Okay, the floor is yours.
Imagine this, a sea turtle travels thousands of kilometers across the ocean, but it cannot escape pollution. Not the plastic we see, but invisible heavy metals. And the real question is, what are these pollution dust inside their bodies? Sea turtles are long-living and endangered, which make them excellent indicators of ocean health. But most studies only look at what we can see, their size, their weight, and the visible disease. And by this time, those changes appear. Is it often too late? Because pollution starts affecting the organism much earlier, deep inside their body. So instead of looking at the turtles from the outside, we look inside at the gut microbiome. This microbiome acts like a hidden health system that responds quickly to environmental stress, including pollution. And more importantly, they can reflect what is happening inside the host. In this study, we worked with wild green turtles from Redang Islands. We compared two groups, immatures and nesting turtles. Then, we measured two things, the heavy metals in their blood and the microbiome in their gut system. What we found, not just a simple effect, but an interaction. Immature turtles have higher manganese, while nesting turtles accumulate metals like arsenic, lead, barium, strontium. And their gut microbes are different too. Immature turtles show microbes like lactobacillus and rotentibacters, which are linked to a more balanced status, while nesting turtles show a metallophagus, pheromonas, which are associated with stress and environment adaptation. This is a key message. The metals and the microbe are connected. The environment shapes the microbiota, and the microbiota reflect how the organism responds. This giving us a new way to understand pollution. Instead of waiting for visible damage, we can use gut microbiome as an early warning system to detect hidden biological changes before it becomes too late. So, by studying this tiny microbe inside sea turtles, we uncovered something powerful. Pollution and biology don't act separately. They interact. And by understanding this interaction, we can better protect marine life from inside out.
Okay, thank you, Mr. C. So, we move on to the judges' deliberation. So, this will go on until the end, yeah? That's the process. We watch the video and then we move to the judges' deliberation.
Di pinggir Laut Cina Selatan, ketika ilmu bertemu irama ombak, Universiti Malaysia Terengganu berdiri sebagai institusi terunggul Malaysia dalam bidang sains marin, sains akuatik dan kelestarian alam. Sebagai universiti berfokus marin Malaysia, Universiti Malaysia Terengganu menerajui penyelidikan, pendidikan dan pemindahan ilmu sekaligus menyumbang secara bermakna kepada kesejahteraan negara serta pembangunan mampan. UMT menawarkan program akademik bertaraf dunia dalam sains marin, biologi akuatik, kejuruteraan lautan, pengajian maritim, pengurusan alam sekitar serta disiplin baru yang dipacu kelestarian termasuklah teknologi maklumat dan perniagaan. Melalui fakulti yang pelbagai, UMT mengintegrasikan sains, teknologi, dasar dan penglibatan komuniti, lalu menyampaikan penyelesaian holistik ke arah masa depan yang mampan dan berdaya tahan. Inovasi digital dan kecerdasan buatan disepadukan merentas kurikulum UMT, memperkasa pelajar untuk menganalisis data, mencipta solusi inovatif dan menghasilkan impak bermakna dari kampus atau di mana-mana sahaja dalam dunia ini. Ekosistem penyelidikan UMT mengukuhkan kepimpinan Malaysia dalam sains marin, sains akuatik serta kelestarian alam. Para penyelidik kami menyumbang dalam bidang utama termasuk tenaga boleh baharu marin, ramalan lautan, kajian perubahan iklim, inovasi perikanan, strategi karbon biru dan pemeliharaan biodiversiti. UMT menempatkan 3 Higher Institution Centres of Excellence yang diiktiraf oleh Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi sekaligus mencerminkan peranan kritikal UMT dalam bidang penyelidikan berfokus nasional. Dengan institut khusus dalam biodiversiti tematik dan tenaga boleh baharu marin, UMT terus berada di barisan hadapan disiplin baharu yang sedang berkembang di peringkat global. UMT bekerjasama rapat dengan agensi kerajaan, rakan industri dan institusi antarabangsa untuk menterjemahkan ilmu kepada impak dunia sebenar.
UMT menawarkan pengalaman pelajar yang tersendiri melalui kampus pesisir pantai yang menakjubkan, komuniti yang inklusif serta persekitaran pembelajaran yang imersif dibentuk oleh alam semula jadi. Di sini, pelajar dibangunkan bukan sahaja sebagai ilmuwan, malah sebagai pemimpin dan warga negara global yang bertanggungjawab.
Let's move on to our third contestant for today's competition. We have Miss Erdiana Marsha binti Baharudin.
Ow, my tooth hurts. And now my back too. It's okay. Naproxen will fix it. We've all had moments like this, where something so small can bring instant relief. A simple pill that helps us to get through the day, to work, or even sleep comfortably at night. But what if I told you that the story doesn't end there? Because after we take naproxen, our body doesn't fully break it down. Some leaves our body and flows through the sewage system and into our water. The worrying part is that we don't see it, we don't smell it, and we don't even realize it's there. And the problem is, our current water treatment system aren't designed to remove medicines like this. So, even though we can't see it, naproxen can still quietly build up in rivers and lakes, and it's affecting our aquatic life, disrupt their natural processes, and slowly change the balance of their ecosystem. It's a reminder that one man's meat could be another man's poison. What helps us could harm the environment. So, what can we do about it? So, in my research, I use bacteria, a tiny living organisms that can naturally break things down. You can think of them as microscopic cleaners, which constantly working behind the scenes. I focus on special bacteria that can survive in tough environments like water treatment systems. And I study their best conditions like the temperature and the surroundings to help them grow better and work efficiently. And what's exciting is that I found not one, not two, but 3 bacteria that are able to break down naproxen in water under hot and cold conditions. It is important in countries like ours, where high temperature can affect how well the treatment systems work. It shows that it has real potential to work in actual treatment systems, and our nature itself can be the solution to remove pollutants from the environment. Remember guys, cleaner water isn't just about science, it's about protecting our ecosystems, the biodiversity that we take for granted, and also the future we all share. So, while naproxen relieve our pain, my research ensures that relief doesn't come at a cost to our planet.
Okay, thank you, Miss Irdiana Marsha. Okay, so let's move on to the judges' deliberation session. Okay, are we done, judges? Good to go? Okay, let's move on. I just want to remind everybody, all the contestants, do not forget to switch on your camera when it's your turn. Right? Okay, so let's watch the fourth competitor's video presentation, Mr. Danang Adi Pratama. Switch on your camera, please.
Have you ever heard of a physics informable network? It is a combination of the interdisciplinary areas of physics, mathematics, and computer science. It sounds complicated by its name until you understand how powerful this method is. Physics Informed Neural Network, or called PIN, is a method to solve complex mathematical equations using an artificial neural network, or more commonly known as AI. Imagine if you could solve a complex mathematical function through a single click. Our problem would be easier. PIN offers a promising alternative that is faster, more accurate than other current methods. Through my research, I have been improving PIN and applying it to real-world problems, focusing on two main goals: faster computation and better accuracy. I developed three different methods, and the first one is the restarting mechanism of PIN, or simply called RPIN. This method modifies the mechanism of how the network trains to reach solutions more efficiently. One of our published papers is able to accelerate the training process when solving problems in earlier breast cancer detection. The second method combines PIN with truncated singular value decomposition, or TSVD. This is an old-fashioned matrix decomposition in mathematics. Their combination restructures the network to process information more quickly. By this method, we solve an equation that models interaction between the sea turtle and its predator. The last one is functional PIN, or FL PIN. This method embeds a complex mathematical series into the network structure, significantly improving the solution compared to the standard model. Using this method, a complex dam break problem in fluid dynamics can be solved. Through this research, I have proved that the combination of physics, mathematics, and computer science is able to enhance the current method and apply it not only in the mathematical problem, but also to broader real-world application, including problems in engineering, medicine, and environmental science.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Danang. Okay, let's move on to the next competitor. We have Miss Wan Nur Shuhada binti Wan Khairuddin.
Activities such as excessive sand mining and coastal development can disturb. Do you know how much coastal area in Terengganu has lost in just the past 5 years because of the erosions? From Pusat to Kemaman, more than 50 kilometers of coastline have experienced erosion. It is estimated that around 20 hectares of land has been lost, with a land value of almost 30 million ringgit. If this land have been developed, it could be provided around 500 houses for local communities. So what is coastal erosion actually? Coastal erosion is the movement of the sediment from one place to another. This process is caused naturally by wave, wind, tides and sea level rise. However, human activities such as excessive sand mining and coastal development can disturb the natural coastal morphology. As a result, the natural balance is disrupted, causing erosion to become more aggressive and happen in high magnitude. Currently, the government practices a reaction approach to manage coastal erosion. This means erosion mitigation structures are only constructed in areas having critical erosion. But before construction can begin, several studies are required, including hydraulic studies, preliminary investigations, and detailed design study. This process usually takes between 2 until 3 years. But the question is, does Malaysia already have guidelines or study to support coastal planning and management? Yes, we do. We have the National Coastal Erosion Study 2050 and Integrated Shoreline Management in 2019. This study provide important information on shoreline changes and coastal management strategy. However, both documents present different type of information and use different approaches. Therefore, government agencies, state authorities and consultants need to refer to multiple sources during coastal planning and management. Would it be better if all this information could be combined into a single user-friendly map? Therefore, this research aims to develop a coastal erosion hazard map. This map will include the latest coastal erosion data, sediment information for each coastal cell, as well as suitable management and mitigation strategy for different areas of coastal. The map can serve as an early decision-making tool for coastal planning, management, and mitigation project without the need to refer to multiple documents. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Wan Nur Shuhada. Alright. Okay. Now I call upon the next contestant, Miss Azrin Shafika Nabila binti Azlan. So please switch on your camera, yeah?
Imagine that we went to two beaches in Terengganu. Both have vegetation, but one beach is stable and the other is slowly disappearing. So the question is, if both have plants, why is one still eroding? The answer is simple. Not all vegetation works the same way. Along the coast, plants grow in layers, from small creepers near the shoreline to grasses and trees further inland. Each layer has a role. Some trap sediments, some slow waves, and some hold the ground in place. But today, these layers are often broken or missing because of human intervention and ongoing erosion. And here is the real problem. We don't actually measure how good the system is. We look at waves, we look at shoreline change, but we don't properly evaluate the vegetation itself. So we're missing a very important part of the picture. Hence, in my research, I asked a simple question. How well is this natural system working? To answer this, I developed a framework called VERS, Vegetation Erosion Resilience Scoring. The idea is actually very simple. I look at three things. First, where the plants are the layers complete or missing? Second, how healthy they are they dense or patchy? Third, how they work together. Do they form a strong barrier or a weak one? Then, I combine this with shoreline data to identify which areas are protected and which areas are at risk. In simple terms, I turn vegetation into a score. A score that tells us this area is strong or this area is vulnerable. So instead of just saying there is vegetation, we can now say how well it actually protects the coast. Verse will help us to make better decisions. Right now, we often depend on expensive structures like seawalls and breakwaters. But if vegetation is well structured, it can act as a natural coastal defense. This means lower cost, more sustainable, better for the environment. In the future, this approach can help planners decide where to protect, where to restore, and where the coast is at risk. So the key idea is this. It's not just about having vegetation, it's about how it is arranged and how well it works. And if we understand that, we can work with nature to protect our coastline. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Azrin. So we'll move on to the judges' deliberation. All right. Okay, so now I call upon the seventh contestant of today's competition. We have Miss Norni Hidayawati binti Mat Daud. Please switch on your camera.
Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Let's take a quick look at the electronics in your pockets or your home. We live in a world of incredible gadgets, but do you know that they all share one major weakness? They are terrified of power surge. A tiny spike in voltage lasting only for a fraction of a second can fry the delicate circuits in your phone or your laptop instantly. To stop this, we use something called varistor. Think of it as a security guard for electricity. Normally, it blocks the flow of current, but the moment a dangerous surge hits in, it instantly opens and absorbs the extra energy and sends it safely to the ground. For years, we have used a varistor made mostly of zinc oxide. They are great for big power lines, but our tech is getting smaller and runs on a much lower voltage, so these cards aren't sensitive enough. So here is where our research comes in. We have developed a low voltage varistor by combining the zinc oxide with a special material called the strontium titanate. By adding the right amount of strontium titanate, we can change the way the material behaves at the microscopic level, specifically at the boundaries between the tiny grains. So our result shows a lower breakdown voltage which is suitable for a low voltage varistor. You might be wondering, why should I care about this ZSTO? Here is the reasons why this is a game changer. The first one is it serves better protection for small tech. That means it can protect the tiny sensitive microchips in your smartwatch. The second one is the cost avoidance. By integrating our low voltage varistor, you can avoid a frequent repair cost and extend the lifespan of the electronics. In short, we are shrinking the security guard for electrical world so that they can fit inside the next generation of technology. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Norni. Okay, let's move on to the next round of judges' deliberation. So we have come to number 8. Alright, so we have Mr. Hee Cheong Hui. Okay, so again, I'm reminding everybody, all the contestants, please switch on your camera until the end of judges' deliberation. Stay on camera. Okay, alright, so the floor is yours, Mr. Hee.
Imagine you have discovered a secret recipe for a life-saving medicine. It works perfectly, but when someone asks you how it works, you are not really able to explain about it. In the world of environmental safety, we face this challenge with ammonia sensor. Ammonia is a silent threat to our water and health. Okay, actually we can build a sensor in the lab to detect the ammonia, but simply make it work is not enough for me. To protect our environment on a global scale, we need more than a lucky discovery. We need a fundamental law about it. Therefore, I have made it my responsibility to turn this discovery into a blueprint to decode the science behind the sensor. My journey starts in a physical lab. I synthesize a unique family of compounds called tollan. They are tiny conductive molecular wires. I decorate this wire with specific metal unit like gold, silver and copper to create a sensor that able to detect the ammonia. But the lab is only half of the story. I can see the sensor respond to the light or sending an electrical pulse, but I am looking this signal through a window at the process. I cannot yet fully see at the atomic level. This is where the power of fundamental theory comes in. Once my lab work is complete, I move my successful result into a supercomputer to look at the mathematics behind the chemistry. It is not just a simulation, it's a microscopic eye. It allowed me to look back at my experimental success and decode the secret between my molecule and the ammonia. By calculating the quantum energy and electric movement, I can prove exactly why certain molecules are more sensitive than others. This theoretical work is the most critical step of my PhD. It takes my experimental success and turn it into a universal blueprint. By mastering these fundamental rules, we move away from the trial error of traditional chemistry. We move from guessing to knowing exactly how to design the next generation of sensor. My research bridges the gap between what we see and what we know. By combining hands-on synthesis with deep theoretical validation, I'm helping to build a future where we don't just detect pollution, but we understand the very atoms of the problem, allowing us to protect our air and water with absolute precision.
Please stay on the camera, ya. Okay, nice. Can we proceed? Alright. Cool. Okay. Let's move on to our next contestant. We have Miss Nuraini Sunusi Maaji. Forgive me. She's no longer here with us for the competition. All right. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay. We have Miss Nur Adawiyah binti Muhammad Rozi. Please switch on your camera and remain so until the end
Hello
of the
everyone,
session.
let's imagine the largest fish in the ocean, the whale shark, a giant that can grow 12 meter long and yet feeds small organisms smaller than your fingernails. This raises an important question. Why do the whale shark visit certain places such as Tango Islands? The whale shark, scientifically known as Rhodontippus, are classified as endangered species under IUCN Red List and protected under CITES Appendix 2. However, despite their conservation status, we still know very little about their feeding ecology in Malaysian water. My research investigates whether Tango Island function as potential feeding area for the whale shark by examining planktonic ecosystem. At the base of the food web is phytoplankton responsible for primary productions. This supports zooplankton, the primary consumer, which then support fish larvae representing higher trophic level. Together, this food web ultimately sustain the whale shark. To understanding this ecosystem, I assess environmental drivers including sea surface temperature, nutrient, and chlorophyll A, which regulate plankton productivity and distribution. I combine fish sampling, satellite remote sensing, GIS analysis, and stable isotope to examine both ecosystem productivity and trophic structure. What I'm looking for is evidence of a productive and well-structured ecosystem capable of supporting larger plantivore such as the whale shark. This study is significant because it filled important research gap in Malaysia where information on the whale shark feeding ecology remain limited. More importantly, understanding this ecology dynamic help identify critical feeding habitat for endangered species and support future marine conservations. Because protecting ocean giants start with the understanding the smaller organism. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Nur Adawiyah. Okay, remain on your computer and camera, yeah. Okay, Alhamdulillah. So now we'll move on to the last competitors before we go for a short break, yeah? Okay, so contestant number 10, Mr. Kilin Yang. Okay, please.
Hello everyone. Today I would like to introduce my research entitled Impact of Low-Dose Pesticide Diet and Probiotic Imitation on Gut Microbiota Functions and Host Liver Transcriptome in Rats. Pesticides are widely used in agriculture, but long-term exposure to low-dose may cause potential health risks. Previous studies suggest that pesticide exposure can disturb gut microbiota, reduce beneficial bacteria, and affect immune and metabolic balance. Therefore, my research aims to investigate whether probiotic fermented cabbage can alleviate the negative effects of low-dose pesticide exposure in rats. This study focuses on three aspects: gut microbiota composition, microbial metabolic activity, and liver gene expression. Rats will be divided into three groups: control group, pesticide only group, and pesticide plus probiotic fermented cabbage group. For microbiota analysis, intestinal samples will be collected and CCS RNA sequencing will be used to analyze microbiota diversity. Biolog ecoplate will be used to evaluate microbial carbon utilization. Liver tissue will be collected for RNA sequencing, and geo and KGG analysis will be exposure, immune-related, and metabolic pathway. I expect that pesticide exposure will be reduce microbial diversity, disturb microbial balance, and weaken carbon metabolism. Probiotic fermented cabbage is expected to restore microbial balance and regulate gene related to inflammation. In conclusion, my research may provide evidence that probiotic fermented cabbage can reduce pesticide-induced gut microbial dysfunction and liver transcriptomic disturbance. Thank you for your attention. Hello.
Thank you, Mr. Kilin. Okay, please stay on the line. Switch on your camera. Okay, and we are done for now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take 5 and we'll be back after a short break. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have briefly rested with coffee and kuih, so I think we are good to go now. Right, Alhamdulillah. So we'll move on to our next contestant, Miss Nur Sabrina Amirah binti Muhammad Nasir. Please switch on your camera.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. Imagine an offshore oil platform standing strong in the middle of the ocean, but every day it faces a silent enemy called corrosion, the gradual destruction of metal caused by chemical reactions with seawater and harsh marine conditions. This process slowly eats away at the structure, costing the marine industry billions of dollars every year and creating serious safety and environmental risk. Traditional protective coatings eventually crack, allowing corrosion to accelerate and requires expensive and difficult repairs. What if the coating could heal itself? That's exactly what I've been studying during my 3-year PhD research. I formulated a smart self-healing anti-corrosion coating based on a waterborne polyurethane binder embedded with PLA microcapsules made from Polyalthia lonifolia leaf extracts. Here's how it works. Thousands of these tiny microcapsules are evenly distributed throughout the coating. And when a crack forms due to mechanical damage or stress, the microcapsules at the damaged side break open and release the plant-based healing agent directly into the crack. But there's more. As corrosion begins at the damaged side, the local environment becomes acidic because of the electrochemical reactions. This pH drop acts as a natural trigger, prompting more microcapsules to release their healing content precisely where it's needed. The released plant extract then reacts to seal the crack, form a new protective layer, and stop the corrosion from spreading. In my experiment, this microcapsule coating showed a better corrosion resistance in simulated seawater compared to the coatings without the microcapsules as additive. The advantages are clear. It helps offshore structure last much longer, greatly reduce the cost of maintenance, and is more sustainable because it uses natural plant extracts and requires far fewer repaints over the lifetime of the structure. In summary, through this research, I am formulating a smart coating that doesn't just protect metal from corrosion, but also actively detects corrosion damage and repair itself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Nur Sabrina. Stay on the line, yeah? Okay, right. We are done. Let's move on to our next contestant, Mr. Nitis Khanna Nalusami. Please switch on your camera.
Imagine a wound dressing that can actually warn doctors before infection became dangerous. Every year, millions of people suffer from diabetic and chronic wounds. The biggest problem is infection. The most infection detected by too late, causing delayed treatment, severe complications, and sometimes even amputation. In COVID-19 pandemic, many patients unable to get the regular wound care treatment in time. In fact, one of my family members lost her life due to complications from the wound infection because unable to access the medical care in time. That experience inspired my research. Today, I am developing a smart wound dressing that can able to monitor the wound environment in real time. My dressing made using biocompatible polymers like chitosan and combined with green synthesized cellular nanoparticle and natural pH sensitive dye extract from butterfly pea flower. What makes this dressing smart? Normally the healthy wound has a balanced pH, but when infection starts, the wound pH changes to alkaline condition. We place the dressing over the wound, it can change the pH and show infection through visible color variation from blue to green. At the same time, the cellular nanoparticles act as an antimicrobial agent, helps to reduce the bacterial growth and promote faster healing. Another important part of my research is sustainability. This research follows the waste to wealth concept. The chitosan is derived from stem cell waste. Cellular nanoparticles synthesized from agricultural waste and pH sensitive dye is naturally obtained from the butterfly pea flower Bunga Thelan. So instead of using expensive synthetic materials, we converting natural waste into a high valuable biomedical products. Unlike normal wound dressing that only covers the wound, but this dressing can sense, respond and protect simultaneously. This innovation could help diabetic wound patients, rural healthcare and military medicine. My goal is simple, to create an affordable and eco-friendly smart dressing that not only heals the wound but also save lives through early infection detection. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nitis Khanna. Right, let's move on to the judges' deliberation. Next, I call upon Miss Nur Shiva Salinda. Please switch on your camera.
Hello everyone. Imagine the ocean wave approaching the coastline or heat spreading through a metal surface. Although these phenomena look very different, they are governed by the same mathematical language, partial differential equation or PDEs. PDEs are very important because they describe many real-world problems, including the wave modeling, heat transfer, fluid dynamic, and climate system. Traditionally, PDE are solved using the analytical or numerical methods. However, for complex problems with the high dimension or irregular domains, this method often becomes the computationally expensive. Today, machine learning offers a promising alternative through a method called physics-informed neural network or PIN. Unlike ordinary neural network, PIN learn not only from the data but also from the governing physics. Its loss function is built from the PDE equation, initial condition and boundary condition, forcing the model to satisfy the physical laws during the training process. However, PIN still faces challenges, especially in weight initialization and the selection of collocation point or the training point. Poor initialization or unstable training point can lead into unstable and inaccurate solution, particularly for stiff or highly nonlinear PDEs. Therefore, this research proposes an improved PIN framework. First, we optimize the initial network parameters using the cat and mouse-based optimizer to improve the convergence of PIN. And then the second, we introduce an adaptive collocation strategy that dynamically updates the training points, allowing the model to focus on important regions on the PDE domain. As a result, the proposed method achieved more accurate, stable, and robust solution compared to conventional PIN approach. In conclusion, this research contributes towards making machine learning-based PDE solver more adaptive and practical for challenging real-world problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Nur Shiva. Okay, so now it's the judges' deliberation session. Miss Nur Shiva, stay on the line. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Right. So we will move on to the next contestant. So I call upon Miss Alina Irwana binti Muhammad Asrai.
Imagine you are a teenager diagnosed with bone cancer. The tumor is real, but now there is a gap where your bone used to be. Your body cannot fix that alone. That's the problem my research solved. We created a material called Smart Scaffold, a tiny sponge-like scaffold made from two things, a mineral that's naturally found in your bones and a plant-based gel. Together, they form a 3D structure that acts like a home for your bone cells to grow back. But this scaffold doesn't just sit there. When placed in the body, it triggers new bone formation on its own. We tested this in the lab, and within just 7 days, the scaffold was already building a bone layer on its surface. It also carries medicine. We loaded it with a drug that fights bone cancer cells, and it released that drug slowly and steadily over 4 days. No sudden overdose, just control, targeted treatment, and the cells, they thrive. Cell survival stay above 90%. Cell growth exceeded 100% over 3 weeks. One scaffold, bone rebuilding, drug delivery, cell support, all at once. For patients with bone cancer, this could mean fewer complications, faster healing, and a better quality of life. That's what we are building. From the lab all the way to the bone. And thank you.
Thank you, Miss Alina. Okay, so hopefully you are on the line, yeah? Please switch on your camera. Ladies and gentlemen, we are halfway through. Another mile to go. Another half mile to go. All right, brace yourself. Okay, so let's move on to our next contestant. Contestant number 15, Miss Nurul Anissa binti Mat Yunan. All right, so please switch on your camera.
Take a moment and imagine this. What if the plastic bags you use for only 5 minutes today stay in the environment for hundreds of years from now? Now imagine this plastic ended up in our beaches, our landfill, floating in our ocean, breaking down into small microplastics that entering seafood and eventually entering us. This is not just a local issue, but it is a global crisis. This has become the biodiversity problem, ecosystem problem that may affect human health. So this raises an important question. What if nature already has the solution? This is where my PhD research begins. Exploring a very unusual groups of organisms, fungi. Scientists are now discovering certain species of fungi that have potential to degrade the synthetic plastic. So in my PhD research work, I went to two polluted sites, Batu Rakit Beach and Sungai Ikan Landfill in Kuala Nerus, to search for fungi that grow naturally on the plastic waste. I bring back the plastic waste samples into the laboratory to isolate the fungal strains. After that, I screen the fungal isolates using low-density polyethylene LDPE. By incubated them on mineral salt medium agar MSMA, where LDPE serves as the only carbon source for the fungal growth. To further identify the fungi, I extracted their DNA and analyzed using molecular techniques to determine the species accurately. And the results were interesting. Out of 50 plastic samples I collected, fungal growth was detected in 45 plastic samples, producing 60 fungal isolates from a few fungal genus such as Aspergillus, Trichoderma, Fusarium, and others. And more interestingly, some of the fungal isolates were able to colonize the LDPE during the screening stage. This suggesting they have a potential for plastic biodegradation.
Okay, thank you, Miss Nurul Anissa. Right, we'll proceed to the judges. Time to make their evaluation. Alright, without wasting time, I call upon the next contestant, Miss Masita binti Muhammad. Please switch on your camera, yeah?
Good day. Coconut is often called the tree of life because every part of it is useful. But today, this tree is not performing to its full potential. In Malaysia, coconut yield remains low. One key reason is something many people overlook: pollination. Coconut flowers depend largely on wind, but wind is unreliable. This leads to poor fruit set, smaller coconuts, and reduced income for farmers. So the question is simple: what if we let nature do a better job? This is where the stingless bee, Heterotrigona itama, comes in. Unlike wind, these tiny bees actively visit coconut flowers. They move from flower to flower, transferring pollen efficiently and consistently. In my research, I introduced stingless bee colonies into coconut farms and compare them with natural and manual pollination. What do I measure? Not just yield, but fruit quality, honey production, and economic returns. The expectation is clear. More effective pollination leads to higher fruit set, bigger and heavier coconuts, sweeter coconut water, and better overall quality. But the benefits don't stop there. Farmers also gain a second income stream through kelulut honey. So instead of relying on one crop, they now have two. This creates a more resilient and sustainable farming system. Environmentally, stingless bees support biodiversity and reduce dependence on chemical inputs. So in simple terms, we are not just improving coconuts, we are improving livelihoods. In conclusion, tiny stingless bees can make a big difference. By working with nature, we can transform the coconut industry into one that is more productive, more profitable, and more sustainable. Because sometimes the smallest solution creates the biggest impact. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Masita. Okay, so remain on the line. So we proceed with the judges' deliberation. Oh, before that, we have a quick session with the chief judge, yeah, Miss Masita.
Hello, Assalamualaikum, Miss Masita. Are you there? So we just want to confirm at what stage are you now? Are you from first year or second year of PhD now?
First year, second semester.
Semester. Okay. We just want to confirm your study a little bit. So okay.
Okay.
Okay, basically we want to know more which area actually you want to cover from your study.
Which area?
Yeah.
My bidang is on crop science, in bracket agronomy. So the production of the coconut, I will measure the quality and also the fruit set of the coconut fruit for SGG coconut fruit, sungai gulang-gulang punya variety. So I will measure until we have the fruit set count, the coconut quality, post-harvest quality measurement, the quality of honey and also honey production, and lastly the fourth objective is until ROI. All the product that have been produced integrate with the treatment that we done. We will measure the cost and also the cash that we get.
All right. Thank you. We just confirmed this one. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, dear judges. Moving on, let us watch our next contestant video presentation. And the next competitor is Mr. Shaharil Saidin. Please switch on your camera.
Imagine a river once filling with life, now silent, is floating on the surface, water turned dark and murky. This is the reality of wastewater pollution caused by hazardous organic compounds, particularly 4-nitrophenols. 4-nitrophenol is highly toxic, persistent, and resistant to biodegradation. When this pollutant is discharged into the environment without adequate treatment, it causes ecological damage of aquatic ecosystem. Meanwhile, in humans, the exposure to 4-nitrophenols causes a disease called methemoglobinemia, a condition that reduces oxygen delivery in the blood. In short, this compound is a silent killer to our water, aquatic ecosystem, and us. So, how do we get rid of it? My research introduces a catalyst called gold nanoparticles on imine functionalized magnetite, which I call the MEI system. Using density functional theory, I first modeled and predicted on how this material would interact to 4-nitrophenols at the molecular level before stepping into the lab. Then, in the laboratory, I prepared this nanocatalyst by synthesis and characterized and tested its ability in the reduction of 4-nitrophenols to 4-aminophenols, which is significantly less toxic substances. Guess the result. As you can see in the UV spectrum, the absorbance peak of 4-nitrophenols achieving 100% degradation within 5 minutes, and a new peak corresponding to 4-aminophenols appears, indicating a complete and highly efficient catalytic reduction. The MEI catalyst demonstrated cyclic stability, as it retaining 92.18% of its catalytic efficiency over 9 consecutive cycles, which is significant to the development of sustainable and economical heterogeneous catalytic system. To conclude, we now have a smart and recyclable nanocatalyst that has magnetic properties for easy separation and is highly active, which can be integrated as a wastewater treatment strategy to utilize or remove this pollutant, and we successfully prepared magnetic nanogold for a greener future. Because a clean water is not a luxury, it is a right, and with the right science, we can protect it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shaharil. By the way, are you there, Mr. Shaharil? Right, please. Yeah. Okay, right. So stay on the line, yeah? Okay, now I'm calling our next contestant, Mr. Ahmad Amaluddin bin Muhammad Ali. Okay, so please switch on your camera.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Amaluddin bin Muhammad Ali. I am from Faculty of Science and Marine Environments. So today I'm going to present my 3-minute TC presentation entitled of Microplastic and Hidden Toxic Chemical. So microplastic is about less than 5 micrometer in size, and also can be on their own. Microplastic can be very worrying, but there is a biggest problem that microplastic can act as a vector that carry out another pollutants such as persistent organic pollutants. So now imagine that a mussel farm, the green mussel Penavridis is a feeder feeder. So it spends its life in filtering seawater, and it's our farm. It is ever grow using a rope, plastic rope. That means mussel farm could be highway that move both microplastic and this hidden chemical into the seafood that we eat. So my research focused on farm into key areas that the Strait of Malacca and Johor Straits. These are productive mariculture zone. So, but there are also a busy coastal corridor with shipping area, industry area, and also urban area. So there are perfect place to ask how human activity can affect our seafood. So to trace the pathway, I sample 3 things. There are seawater, sediment, and also Penavridis, mussel, including different size of microplastic. First, I look for microplastic and persistent organic pollutant in seawater and also sediment. Next, I examine whether the green mussel can concentrate those pollutants in their tissue. So finally, also the recent paper have shown that microplastic can also be taken up by human through the digestion. Okay, so the goal is not just to say that microplastic are there, and I want to measure how much plastic and how much toxin is present, and use that to produce baseline data for the mariculture mussel in Malaysia. So I also calculate the polymer risk assessment that I got from the using FTIR spectroscopy to know the type of polymer. So I can calculate the polymer risk assessment to know the polymer risk in that area, and also I calculate the pollution load index and also the potential ecological risk index. So this number also can help the agency in Malaysia to make a policy or the better decision about the management of mariculture in Malaysia zone. So in the end, my work connect 4 simple steps. What is in the water, what settle for the sediment, and also what accumulate in the mussel, and what may finally reach our plate. If we understand the change, we also can be a better protect in our mariculture farm and our environments. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad. Next to the judges' deliberation. Now, let's proceed to another video presentation. Forgive my pronunciation, I will get this right. So I'm calling upon Mr. Futia Vitali Maningayil Zainul Abid. So hopefully you are there. Please switch on your camera.
My name is Zainul Abid. Today here I am presenting my research work, tidal influence sedimentation process in tropical coastal lagoon. It's a case study from Merchang Lagoon. The Merchang Lagoon is located in Terengganu State, Malaysia. It's a 17-kilometer coastal lagoon. Actually, it's a tropical lagoon. Like there is only one inlet to the lagoon. So here, what we are trying to figure it out, like how the sedimentation process in the tropical lagoons influenced by tide. So how the tidal energy influence that. So here and the particle size in each stations of like the upper portion and lower portion of the lagoon, how that differs, and the connection between like how connected the total organic matter and bulk density in each station. Here we have 21 sampling stations. And we have a particular protocol like land side, seaside and mid-water, 7 stations from land side, 7 stations from mid-water like subtidal, and 7 stations from the land side and seaside. So from the total 21 stations we collected 21 core samples for particle size analysis and bulk density, and as well as we collected the tidal data for the 6 months before and after the sampling of January 2026. So through that data sets and further data interpretation analysis, we could find out there is a critical connection between the bulk density and the total organic matter. There is a strong negative correlation. And coming to the proportion of the concentration of sand and the concentration of total organic matter in each plot, like land side and seaside and mid-water, like the land side always it shows 11% of total organic matter and only 42% of sand content. And coming to the seaside, there is 98% of sand content and only 1% of total organic matter. So these are all the things that are carried by the energy. Like the seaside have much energy, and the size of medium grain size is around 800 micron. And coming to the land side, it's only like the 72 or less than 48 something micron is only the median grain size in the land side. So that's all things because of the tidal energy, how that carrying the sediments. So through this work, it's the importance of this work, like there is a coastal development and for the coming environmental changes, how the tidal energy is influencing. That's we want to know through this work. That's we could discover through disclose this work in the basis of Merchang Lagoon, tropical lagoon. Good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Putia. Right, let's move on to the judges' deliberation. Okay. Alhamdulillah. So let's move on to the next video presentation by Mr. Muhammad Hanif bin Fazli. Okay, are you there?
Hello everyone, my name is Hani from the Faculty of Fisheries and Aquaculture Sciences. Today I'm going to share to you about my study on age and growth parameter of Cicely plankton from the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia. Cicely plankton or brown bamboo shark has been caught and landed in the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia, and we see highest actually in Malaysia. And this species has been caught from fish trap and trout fishing gear. And we still don't know on its biological data for the age and growth parameter for this species. Based on our list review, we know that this species is a slow growth rate and low maturity. So, what is the story in Malaysia? We still don't know. Let's uncover it together. The objective for our study was to determine the age structure and estimate the growth parameter. For the methodology, the samples have been taken at Kuala Dumun and Kuantan Fish Landing Port for the whole year. Then the sample has been taken the length, weight and the sex, and we extract the vertebrae, clean, chop, burn using the protocol by 5 AL 2021. Then we determine the age by counting and observe the opaque and the transsequent zone, and the growth parameter we calculate using the vertical growth parameter so that we can see the elephant K and the TO for this species. For the result, the age structure for Cicely plankton is comprised from 3 to 10 years old, where the mean sex or age is 7 for male and 6 for female. For the growth parameter, we can see that the elephant or exotic growth for male is higher compared to the female. This means that this species can be only growth at this size only at that area. For the growth rate, we can see the opposite result where we see that female is higher and male is a bit slower. This means that the sport growth of this species are higher in female compared to the males. If I talk about the recommendation, it's going to be long, so I would like to suggest 3 recommendations, which is firstly on releasing the immature size and have a size limit of cages for this species so that they can live and reproduce once in their lifetime. And then thirdly, I would recommend on seasonal or area closing for this species, because during our study we can see the hotspot of this species in the Kuala Dumun and Kuantan. And that's all for me. I would like to thank you for Faculty of Fisheries and Aquaculture Sciences and WFH for funding of my project. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Muhammad Hanif. Okay, let's move on to the judges to do their evaluation. Okay, right, so we have come to contestant number 21. Okay, and we have Miss Saima Kuram. Alright, please switch on your camera.
The coast may look beautiful, but for the millions of people, it is a place of survival. It is home to them. Across the world, the coastal areas are under growing pressure from climate change, sea level rise, flooding, erosion, rapid development, and human activities. And Malaysia is facing the same challenge. They are affecting our daily life. Imagine a road that was once safe start flooding again and again. A beach becomes smaller every year. A fishing village become more exposed to storms. These changes look smaller at first, but with the time it becomes a serious risk. This is the core challenge that my research aims to address. My thesis focused on eastern and southern coast of Malaysia, facing the South China Sea, and are strongly affected by the monsoon rainfall. So what makes this issue serious is that the coast is not facing just one threat. In many places, several hazards are coming together, and the real problem: where do these hazards overlapping the people's life, people's homes, roads, buildings, and the fragile landscapes? So, for answering this, I use decades of satellite images as time record of the coast. As satellite data is important because it provides a cost-effective way to observe long coastline repeatedly, including the areas where the field survey may be very difficult or time-consuming. So I have measured where the shoreline has moved and where the land has been lost and where the coast is becoming more exposed. And with this shoreline information, the more data had been added, like flood, wave conditions, erosion, elevation, surface elevation, building maps, load land cover, and other environmental factors to produce a coastal vulnerability map. It's not a simple map, rather it zooms in closer. It shows where the risk is actually concentrated at finer level. It's such as village near the shoreline, a village near the shoreline, or a road flooding again and again, and a beach that is slowly disappearing. This level of details helps turn a journal warning into a more useful planning tool. Because this is important for decision makers, need to know where to monitor first, where the protection may be needed, and where the future development should be planned more carefully. And so my research does not claim to stop coastal changes. Coastal changes are natural and in many places unavoidable. But if we identify where the risk is increasing, we can help communities and planner more earlier.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Saima. Okay, we move on to the judges' deliberation. Okay, moving on real fast to our next contestant. I'm calling Miss Nur Zahira binti Kamarudin.
When people think about coral reef, they usually imagine colorful reef in bright shallow waters. But deeper beneath the surface, in dim blue waters around Peninsular Malaysia, there are hidden coral ecosystems that remain largely unexplored. These hidden reefs are called mesophotic coral ecosystem. They exist between 30 to 150 meters depth in what scientists often call the ocean twilight zone. And surprisingly, we still know very little about them. So, my research asked a simple question. Are these hidden reefs different from the shallow reef that we already know? To answer this, I first document the distribution of mesophotic reef across Peninsular Malaysia. And then, I compared the hard corals living in shallow reef and mesophotic reef. What I found was very interesting. Shallow reefs supported more diverse coral growth forms and higher species diversity, but were dominated by branching and massive corals because they receive more sunlight. And in contrast, the mesophotic reef showed lower coral diversity and were mainly dominated by plate-like and encrusting corals. These growth forms are better adapted to low light environments, helping the corals to maximize light capture in deeper waters. But the coral does not survive alone. Inside every coral, there are microscopic algae called zooxanthellae. These tiny partners live in symbiotic relationship with corals, providing energy through photosynthesis and helping the corals to survive. To study them, I collect coral samples from both shallow and mesophotic reef. And by using DNA analysis, I investigate the diversity of these zooxanthellae. From my finding, shallow reef were dominated by clade D, where this is common to associate with warmer temperature and high light intensity, whereas for the mesophotic reef, they are dominated by clade C, which are better adapted to low light conditions. From these findings, we discovered that coral reefs at different depths are supported by different coral algae partnerships. And this matters because mesophotic reefs may play an important role in future survival of coral ecosystem. As climate change continues to threaten our shallow reef worldwide, understanding these hidden deeper reefs may help us better to protect coral biodiversity and to improve future conservation strategies. Because sometimes the key to protecting coral reef is not only found where sunlight is the brightest, but also in the hidden reef of the ocean twilight zone.
Thank you, Miss Nur Zahira. Okay, are you there, Miss Nur Zahira? Yes. Okay. We have come to the last contestant for Science, Engineering and Technology cluster. So I call upon Ms. Nur Ain Nasuha binti Omar.
My study focuses on stabilization mechanism of anthocyanin from mangosteen pericarp using colloidal gas efferent system. Mangosteen, scientifically known as Garcinia mangostana L, is native to Southeast Asia, including Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. Pericarp is the purple outer peel of mangosteen. It is usually treated as waste, but actually it contains highly with polyphenolic compound. This compound is very important because it has strong antioxidant activity, health promoting properties, and also great potential application in food, pharmaceutical, and cosmetic product. Next, moving to the middle part of this slide, this is the main extraction process using CGA system, which is a greener extraction approach that can be alternative to conventional method that associated with several drawbacks. In my study, CGA were generated by intense stirring of whey protein isolate using high-speed homogenizer, and to obtain the best performance of this extraction method, CGA were generated at the condition optimized using response surface methodology, which were volumetric ratio of 10 to 1, pH value of 2.8, and salt concentration of 1278 ppm. During the extraction process, two phases were formed. The upper part is called as efferent phase, while the lower part is liquid phase. The important point here is that the polyphenol from the mangosteen pericarp extract will interact with the outer layer of CGA either through electrostatic or hydrogen bond. It's based on the extraction condition and become concentrated in the efferent phase. Because of that, the separation process become easier and more efficient. CGA consists a unique structure with gases in a core in the middle and then surrounded with the multiple surfactant layer, whereby the outer layer of the surfactant will stabilize the CGA system. And this provide the large interfacial area for the target compound, which is polyphenol from mangosteen pericarp, to interact with the protein molecule of the surfactant. And in CGA system, three stabilization mechanisms, including concentration effect, and this study revealed that surfactant concentration influence the CGA's characteristic, whereby gas hold up half-life of CGA increase with the increasing WPI concentration, indicating improved system stability.
Okay. Phew, thank you, Miss Norain. So are you there? Can we see you?
Yes.
Okay, so could you please switch on your camera, yeah? It's important for us to see you, to ensure that you are real. Okay, in the meantime, we proceed to the judges' deliberation. Okay, Miss Norain? Is there a problem with your camera? But we cannot see you. Oh yeah.
Maybe I have technical problem with my laptop.
Could you try by removing the background?
Sorry, doctor. I can.
Alright, it's okay. Okay, so we have concluded the science and engineering and technology cluster. So we'll have a short break, 3-minute break before we proceed to the next cluster. Thank you. I'll see you after this. Ladies and gentlemen, so now let's move on to the contestants' video presentations from Social Science Cluster. So I would like to call the first contestant, Miss Zuriani binti Yaakob.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good day, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine learning a language in a classroom where nothing feels familiar. No connection to your life, your culture, or your surroundings. For many Orang Asli learners, this is their reality when learning English. This is where English module for Orang Asli or M4A comes in. Why M4A matters? The significance of M4A goes beyond being just another teaching module. It is designed to bridge the gap between English learning and cultural identity. It matters in 3 key ways. First, for Orang Asli learners, M4A makes English learning more meaningful by connecting lessons to their lived experiences and cultural contexts. As a result, learners become more engaged, more confident, and more willing to participate in learning English. Not because they are forced to, but because they can relate to it. Second, for teachers and schools, M4A provides a flexible teaching resource which is easier to deliver because it is structured around familiar contexts and adaptable classroom activities. It supports teachers in making English lessons more interactive, more relevant, and more accessible, especially in rural or indigenous settings. Third, for the wider educational landscape, M4A is not only limited to one community alone. It has the potential to be adapted by other indigenous or marginalized learners who face similar challenges in accessing meaningful language education. In this way, it contributes to more inclusive and equitable education systems. In a nutshell, M4A is not only about teaching English. It is about ensuring that learning does not require learners to disconnect from who they are. Because education should not force learners to choose between language and identity. Instead, it should bring both together. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention, and Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ms. Zuriani. Okay, let's proceed to the judges' deliberation. Okay, thank you. Right, let's move on to the next contestant, Miss Nur Naimah Muhammad.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Nur Naimah binti Muhammad. Today I would like to present 3-minute thesis presentation. Title is Growing Trust, the Role of Audit Community in Biological Asset Transparency. Imagine this, a plantation company report thousands of hectares of oil palm tree worth millions of ringgit. But here the challenge. How do we know those trees are really worth? Unlike building or machinery, biological assets are living assets. They grow, they change, they are affected by weather, disease, and market price. This makes valuing them extremely complex, and when valuation becomes complex, financial reporting becomes more exposed to management manipulation. That raise an important question: do biological assets improve performance or they create uncertainty of value? This is the central question of my research. My study is examine publicly listed plantation company in Malaysia. Specifically, I investigated how biological assets influence fund performance, but I go one step further. I examine whether audit committee can strengthen this relationship. So why audit committee? Because they act as a monitoring mechanism. They ensure that complex assets like biological asset valuation are examined, transparent and reliable. This study used panel data from Malaysia plantation company across multiple years. My research analyzed both accounting-based and market-based performance indicators. My findings suggest that biological assets do not automatically translate into better performance. The impact depends on governance quality. Where audit community are stronger, firms are better positioned to manage valuation, complexity, and convert biological asset information into meaningful outcome. Why this is so important? Because Malaysia is one of the world's leading plantation economy. Yet, despite the economy importance of biological asset, we still know very little about how governance affect their financial consequences. So my research bridged this gap. It showed that the plantation company value does not come from biological asset alone. It comes from how effectively they are governed, because in the end, it's not just about the growing tree, but it is about the growing trust. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hopefully your camera is switched on, and hopefully we can see you straight facing the camera, yeah? Now let's proceed to the next video presentation. Our contestant number 26, Miss Najahul Kamillah Amini binti Sukri.
Assalamualaikum and hi to all the audience here. I want you to imagine that you are an aqua farmers. You have a farm, a ponds, fish, shrimp, or any aquatic life inside the ponds. So, do you have your own smartphone? Of course, yes, right. Because people nowadays have their own smartphone. So, what is the relationship between the aqua farmers and the smartphone? Do you know the main activities that aqua farmers do inside their businesses? The main activity is they control or monitor the water condition. Monitoring or control the water condition is very important to reduce the ammonia accumulation. Ammonia accumulation is important to reduce because they can affect the fish mortality. When the fish mortality, it will reduce the productivity. How about the food security? So maybe it cannot be sustained for the future generation. This also relate with the economic losses. So, previous method they use the test kit or the lab test. Test kit and the lab test is a very complexity and really time consuming. Can you imagine you have 100 ponds but you need to take one by one the water inside the ponds and put it in the test kit. And you need to drive it to the lab test. So it's very time consuming. Even we didn't know the data is accurate or not. So how about the user friendly method? But we as a Malaysian aqua farmers are really ready to accept or adapt the new user-friendly method. That's the main point of this study. The main point of this study is want to analyze or understand the Malaysian aqua farmers is really ready to accept or adapt this new technological readiness. Technological readiness among the Malaysian aqua farmers regarding to the smartphone-based ammonia detection. So we know that smartphone-based ammonia detection can be used anytime, anywhere you want. You can take that, you can monitor it by using your own phone, because notification will be conducted from the phone. So here is the innovation right now is can control the water condition. Even the application, smart application already conducted in China, Pakistan and India, but even not in Malaysia yet. So why not? We conducted, but we still need to know about the technological readiness among the Malaysian aqua farmers. So this innovation is really important for the smart farming in the future. We want to control about the water monitor to have the healthy food. So when the healthy fish, it will be the stable production, so it can consume or it can sustainable the food security. It's for the future generation. So this innovation beneath the water, sustainable beyond the future. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Najahul. Okay, so let's proceed to the judges. finally, our last contestant of today's competition. All right, so I call upon Miss Atsari Sujud. Please switch on your camera.
Women contribute to nearly every aspect of society, yet remain underrepresented in leadership. According to UN Women, only around 25 countries are currently led by women. This imbalance raises important questions about leadership and human development. This issue is also reflected in Indonesia. One example is Lebak Regency, a rural district in Banten province, where for more than 2 centuries, only one woman has ever become a regional leader. At the same time, Lebak records the lowest human development index in the province. This reality raised 3 important questions. Do women and men lead differently? How do these differences influence human development? And what barriers continue to limit women's leadership opportunities? To answer these questions, I conduct a qualitative comparative study involving local government leaders in Lebak Regency. My findings reveal 2 complementary leadership approaches. Women leaders tend to emphasize collaboration, empathy, and community participation. Meanwhile, men leaders emphasize coordination, formal system, and institutional control. But this research is not about deciding which gender leads better. It is about understanding how different leadership approaches shape different development outcomes. Women leaders contribute strongly to health and education, while men leaders contribute strongly to economic and infrastructure development. And when these approaches work together, development becomes more balanced and sustainable. The study also identified barriers limiting women's leadership opportunities, including stereotypes, limited institutional support, and unequal access to leadership network. So why does this research matter? Because it is not only about leadership, it is about building more inclusive governance and better futures for communities. Although this study focuses in Lebak Regency, its findings may also offer insight for many rural and developing regions facing similar challenges. Because research matters most not when it is stored in libraries, but when it transforms lives. Ultimately, my research shows that empowering women leaders is not simply a matter of equality. It is a pathway towards sustainable human development. Because when leadership becomes more inclusive, development becomes more human. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Atsari. Okay, so please stay on the line. We'll go to the judges' deliberation for the last time. Alhamdulillah, we have watched all video presentations from all 27 contestants. So currently the judges are doing their deliberation. So we'll take a break before we proceed with closing and officiating ceremony with the judge remarks as well as the announcements of the winners. In the meantime, let's watch a montage while waiting for the result.
The best. You can be the King Kong banging on your chest.
You could beat the world, you could beat the war. You can talk to God, go banging on his door.
You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks.
You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you gon' find yourself
standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. You can run the mile, you can walk straight through hell with a smile.
You could be the hero, you can get the gold. Breaking all the records they thought never could be broke.
Yeah, do it for your people, do it for your pride. Are you ever gonna know if you never even try?
Do it for your country, do it for your name. Cause there's gonna be a day when you're
standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. Politicians, be preachers, yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions, be truth seekers. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers, yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions. Standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. You can be a champion, you can be a champion.
pinggir Laut Cina Selatan ketika ilmu bertemu irama ombak. Universiti Malaysia Terengganu berdiri sebagai institusi terunggul Malaysia dalam bidang sains marin, sains akuatik dan kelestarian alam. Sebagai universiti berfokus marin Malaysia, Universiti Malaysia Terengganu menerajui penyelidikan, pendidikan dan pemindahan ilmu sekaligus menyumbang secara bermakna kepada kesejahteraan negara serta pembangunan mampan. UMT menawarkan program akademik bertaraf dunia dalam sains marin, biologi akuatik, kejuruteraan lautan, pengajian maritim, pengurusan alam sekitar serta disiplin baharu yang dipacu kelestarian termasuklah teknologi maklumat dan perniagaan. Melalui fakulti yang pelbagai, UMT mengintegrasikan sains, teknologi, dasar dan penglibatan komuniti, lalu menyampaikan penyelesaian holistik ke arah masa depan yang mampan dan berdaya tahan. Inovasi digital dan kecerdasan buatan disepadukan merentas kurikulum UMT, memperkasa pelajar untuk menganalisis data, mencipta solusi inovatif dan menghasilkan impak bermakna dari kampus atau di mana-mana sahaja dalam dunia ini. Ekosistem penyelidikan UMT mengukuhkan kepimpinan Malaysia dalam sains marin, sains akuatik serta kelestarian alam. Para penyelidik kami menyumbang dalam bidang utama termasuk tenaga boleh baharu marin, ramalan lautan, kajian perubahan iklim, inovasi perikanan, strategi karbon biru dan pemeliharaan biodiversity. UMT menempatkan 3 Higher Institution Centres of Excellence yang diiktiraf oleh Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi sekaligus mencerminkan peranan kritikal UMT dalam bidang penyelidikan berfokus nasional. Dengan institut khusus dalam biodiversity tematik dan tenaga boleh baharu marin, UMT terus berada di barisan hadapan disiplin baharu yang sedang berkembang di peringkat global. UMT bekerjasama rapat dengan agensi kerajaan, rakan industri dan institusi antarabangsa untuk menterjemahkan ilmu kepada impak dunia sebenar. UMT menawarkan pengalaman pelajar yang tersendiri melalui kampus pesisir pantai yang menakjubkan, komuniti yang inklusif serta persekitaran pembelajaran yang imersif dibentuk oleh alam semula jadi. Di sini, pelajar dibangunkan bukan sahaja sebagai ilmuwan, malah sebagai pemimpin dan warga negara global yang bertanggungjawab.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to celebrate the incredible talent and hard work of all our contestants, we are excited to announce the opening of voting for People's Choice Award for 3MT competition. This award is special as it gives you, our valued audience, the opportunity to recognize the individual whose work has resonated with you the most. We encourage each of you to take a moment to reflect on the presentations and performances you have witnessed. Cast your vote for the one you believe who deserve the most. Voting is now open and it will remain open until 1:29, roughly 3 minutes. Please scan the QR code and cast your vote. Thank you for being an essential part of this celebration, and we look forward to seeing who you choose to honor this special award. Let us now move forward to the closing and officiating ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting time, it's my great honor to invite Professor Dr. Muhammad Ikwanuddin bin Abdullah, Elias Polity, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation, to deliver the closing speech and officiating remarks for the 2026 3-minute thesis 3MT competition. Please join me in warmly welcoming Professor Dr. Muhammad Ikwanuddin.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and a very good afternoon. Yang berbahagia members of University Management, distinguished judges, respective academic staff, researcher, postgraduate students, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let us express our gratitude to Allah for His blessings and guidance that have enabled us to successfully complete and gather for the closing ceremony of the 2026 UMT 3-minute thesis competitions organized by the Postgraduate Management Center UMT. I would like to begin by extending my sincere congratulations and appreciation to the organizing committee, the judges, supervisors, and all participants who have contributed to the success of today's programs. Ladies and gentlemen, today's competition had clearly demonstrated that research excellence is not only measured by the depth of scientific discovery, publications, or laboratory achievement, but also by the ability of researchers to communicate complex ideas in a clear, concise, and impactful manner. The 3-minute thesis platform provides a unique opportunity for our postgraduate researchers to translate years of academic work into measures that can be understood and appreciated by broader communities, industry, policymakers, and society at large. In today's rapid evolving global academic landscape, researchers are expected not only to generate new knowledge, but also to become effective communicators. Leaders, innovators, and ambassadors of the institutions. These competitions directly support that aspirations. The impact of the programs such as this significance and multi-dimensional. For participants, it's enhanced research communication skills, build confidence in public speaking, strengthens critical thinking, and help refine the clarity and focus of the research narrative. It also improves the academics and professional brandings, support future career developments, and expand valuable networkings, contributing opportunity with peers and experts across disciplines. At the institutional level, this program strengthens UMT research culture, enhance the ability of the postgraduate research, and promote the interdisciplinary engagements. It also contributes to producing well-rounded graduates who are not only knowledgeable in their field, but also capable of articulating the ideas effectively to diverse audience. Furthermore, initiatives such as the 3-minute competition play an important role in positioning University Malaysia Terengganu as a center, as a research incentive university that produce confident researcher, strengthen institutional reputations, and nurture future research ambassador who can represent the university at the national and international platforms. To all participants, regardless of today's result, you are all winners. Standing before an audience and representing your research in just 3 minutes require courage, preparations, and intellectual maturity. You have represent the true spirit of postgraduate excellence. To our champion today, heartfelt congratulations. You are now carry not only your personal achievement, but also the honor and the responsibility of representing UMT at a national 3-minute thesis competitions, which will be hosted by University Science Islam Malaysia this coming July 2026. It is our sincere hope and pray that our UMT representative will perform excellently, compete with confidence, and bring honor to the university at the national stage. We hope that this journey will culminate in achieving national recognitions and, Allah willing, bringing home the championships. Ladies and gentlemen, let's today event serve as a reminder that great researcher become even more powerful when it is communicated effectively and understood by the world. With that, it gives me a great pleasure to officially close the 2026 UMT 3-minute thesis competitions. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Muhammad Ikwanuddin, UMT Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation, for the speech remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sure you cannot wait to see the winners for today's competition. But before we announce the winners, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Wan Iriani binti Wan Ismail, our Chief Judge, to give an overview of the contestants' performances. Over to you, Professor Wan Iriani.
All right, thank you to the chairperson. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon. On behalf of the judges, I would like to thank you to Postgraduate Center for organizing this wonderful event, 3-minute thesis competition. So Alhamdulillah, we managed to complete today. And first of all, please give a big applause to all our contestants today. Well done to all who managed to present your research just within 3 minutes. We believe it is not easy. Trust me, it's not easy. Okay, so that's a big achievement actually you managed to do today. So please proud of yourself, because you managed to do so. However, we have a few discussion here among us, all the judges. We would like to give a few comments and consider as some of improvement here. First we can see some of you do not really follow the rules and regulation and rules of the competition. I'm not sure whether you are aware or not that some of the rules that you need to present your presentation just within 3 minutes, not more than 3 minutes. But we noticed a few of you just presented beyond the 3 minutes, so hopefully you can improve that's one in the future. And then we also managed that some of you use supposed to be you need to present in using one static slide only. But we noticed some of you use multiple slides. That's not considered as disqualified. Actually, we can disqualify this kind of presentation. There's a major issue here. And another one here is we noticed that actually that's considered new, and we noticed some of you also use AI for the presentation. It is not allowable. It is considered disqualified to use AI for the presentation. Consider this serious and major issue. Hopefully you can improve in the future. Because we want to see actually how you can present your research from your heart. That's the major one, and that's the real matter here. Okay? And then we also would like to give us a comment in terms of language. Sorry. Okay? We believe your research is very significant and very interesting. But please remember that how about your audience? Imagine, because you use a lot, imagine. Imagine among of your competition come from primary school, primary students, and students from sekolah menengah and so on. So how they can understand your research? So that means you need to use very simple words, simple language. Avoid to use a lot of jargons or complicated words here. Okay, okay, and then the last one here is to the major one. Another one is about your problem statement. Okay, your problem statement. We noticed that many of you not really highlighted your problem statement. Why you use the technique? Why you use such kind of approach in your study? So you're not clearly justified why you use this kind of method or approaches in your study. So that's a major weakness and limitation that you need to improve. And let's say of course we managed to choose the winners today. So we hope the winners and all of you can improve your presentation in terms of what we just mentioned now. And we believe you can do better in the future. And finally, I would like to congratulate to the winners. And we're going to bring the winners to the national level in July, if I'm not mistaken, in July, 8th of July, in USIM, at USIM, in July, and also hopefully for the first time ever we have winner from UMT, because last time we managed to have one student at the first runner-up. First runner-up, that actually he was my student, and the first ever managed to win the 3-minute thesis at the national level. That's it. So hopefully this time we can have the best winner who can represent UMT and also Malaysia at Queensland in 16 September this year. So that's all for us. Thank you so much, and congratulations to the winners for this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Wan Iriani. Okay, so now is the moment that all of us have been waiting for. It's time to announce the winners of 2026 3-minute thesis 3MT competition. Without wasting more time, I would like to announce the winners for today's competition, starting from Science, Engineering and Technology cluster. Let's start with the second runner-up. Please give one round of applause to Ms. Nurul Anissa Mat Yunan. Okay, next, who do you think will be the first runner-up? Okay, it goes to Miss Azrin Shafika Nabila binti Azlan. Now, the moment we've been waiting for. The winner, the ultimate winner for 3MT competition for Science, Engineering and Technology cluster. It goes to Miss Irdiana Marsha binti Baharudin. Massive congratulations for claiming the top spot. Well done. So now we'll move on to the next cluster. Okay, Social Science cluster. Let's begin with the second runner-up. The winner goes to Miss Najahul Kamilah Amini binti Sukri. Okay, and then next, our first runner-up, it goes to Miss Zuriani binti Yaakob. Congratulations. And finally, the winner for 3MT competition for social science cluster. The winner is Miss Atsari Sujud. Congratulations on an incredible effort and outstanding performance. In the meantime, congratulations to all the winners. You are also winners in our hearts. Moving on, alright, because we are not finished yet, we'll move on to People's Choice Award. And we are now honored to announce the recipient of People's Choice Award for UMT 3-minute thesis 3MT competition for this year. This special award, determined by the votes and voices of our community, reflects the outstanding public support and admiration. It is with great pleasure that we congratulate Miss Saima Kuram, our People's Choice Award recipient. Well done. Your remarkable work has truly resonated with the audience, and this recognition is a testament to your impact and excellence. Alhamdulillah. So I guess it's time for me to say goodbye to all of you. We have come to the end of today's competition. Thank you very much to all the honorable judges, all contestants for attending today's competition. Congratulations again to the winners and all participants. We hope you have learned a lot from the presentations and you truly enjoyed the whole competition. With that, I bid you farewell. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.